Denis Villeneuve is a French-Canadian film director and writer. Watching Villeneuve's films, I have learnt he has the ability to make a film look and sound incredibly unique. Unlike other well-known auteurs, Villeneuve doesn't tend to display traditional characteristics as the others would. In this video essay, I'm going to be breaking down and analysing how Villeneuve consistently uses sound and mise-en-scène in a number of ways to effectively enhance his storytelling. I'll be starting by looking at the films Prisoners and Enemy. Jake Gyllenhaal was cast in a main role in both of these films, which was a conscious decision by Villeneuve, as Gyllenhaal fits the dark, mysterious role perfectly. Auteurs choosing the same actor for similar roles in films is historically a very common trait for them. In my opinion, without the use of Gyllenhaal in both films, the storytelling throughout wouldn't have quite had the same edge, as Gyllenhaal's performance very powerfully represented vulnerability. However, this doesn't just apply to actors, as Villeneuve has worked with acclaimed cinematographer Roger Deakins in 3 of his films: Blade Runner 2049, Sicario, and Prisoners. Looking at this in a more personal point of view, Villeneuve greatly succeeded in creating a sense of unease and mystery in his films in 2 main ways: mise-en-scène and sound. In his films, the aesthetics are very clearly manipulated through the post-production of the mise-en-scène. For example, in the film Prisoners, he chooses a very bleak blue effect over most of the shots, which intentionally feels very unnatural and is supposed to project the idea that there is no hope for the character when searching for his missing daughter. A very similar approach is taken in his film Arrival. Grey and blue tints throughout the majority when things aren't looking good for the characters. This plays a crucial role in enhancing the story, as it heightens the audience's lack of hope for the characters, which ultimately brings us to be more emotionally invested in their journey. In contrast to this, during moments of hope, Villeneuve removes bleakness from the shots to literally enlighten our hope for the characters. As you can see in this clip from Arrival, the entire tone of the scene is changed just from the warmer, much more orange aesthetic of the mise-en-scène. Again, this enhances the story as it keeps us emotionally in line with the characters. Villeneuve also subtly displays a style of cinematography which creatively defines his films. He often likes to leave the audience with questions and wonder about the characters and story. He achieves this by using a lot of silhouette shots to make the audience feel distant from the story when he wants them to be. As you can see in some of these great silhouette shots, the mise-en-scène is dark and shadowy, very much leaving the audience in the dark. Show don't tell is a common phrase in filmmaking which Villeneuve displays here as the audience have an indicator of which way the story may go. In this case in Arrival, just as we are being introduced to the aliens for the first time, this shot is designed to evoke fear and isolate the character, foreshadowing that the story might start heading down a darker route. Alongside the use of silhouettes, another method Villeneuve uses to create a sense of mystery in his stories is to often introduce his characters in a slow, unrevealing manner. You can see this on display, as this is how he introduces his protagonists in multiple films. This style from Villeneuve is used in a very recurring manner, which helps with representing vulnerability and possibly hints at a darker side to our protagonists. And finally, I'll be talking about the way Villeneuve uses sound in his films. We're strongly inclined to think of sound as simply an accompaniment to the real basis of cinema, the moving images. This quote from the book Film Art suggests that the audience aren't supposed to actively notice sound when watching a film. This then allows directors such as Villeneuve to create a world without them noticing. I would argue the clever use of non-diegetic music is just as important as Villeneuve's unique mise-en-scène. Villeneuve has worked multiple times with the music composers Johan Johansson and Hans Zimmer, who've both produced otherworldly sounding music. Including this unsettling style of music they produce can seriously help immerse the viewer into the beautiful sci-fi worlds Villeneuve is so great at creating. In Arrival, the powerful music juxtaposed the beauty of some of the shots, adding emotion. From Blade Runner 2049, this establishing shot introduces us to this futuristic phenomenon Villeneuve has crafted. The music alongside this great imagery really exaggerates the lack of hope viewers should feel when watching. Moving away from the sci-fi films of Villeneuve, Prisoners, a much grittier and realistic film, has sound provided by Johan Johansson which is much more fitting for the genre, yet still eerie. Yet it doesn't end there. These similarities occur in most of Villeneuve's films. Villeneuve is a director who has found a very successful way to craft a story. He loves to create these unimaginable worlds for the audience to become engulfed into. His use of sound and mise-en-scène allow for the best version of this, ultimately heightening the stories.